Bookworm family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Danny. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell because I am posting a ton of stuff in the months of March and April that I want you guys to be a part of. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, it is at @the_dancing_bookworm, and I post on there full reviews and content. I am super sorry in advance. My lighting is weird. My glasses have a glare. I've had a very rough day, and one of the things that happened is my light bulb in my ceiling fixture is really dimming, which isn't good because tomorrow I start teaching my online classes for dance class, and it's going to be in here, and right now my room is really dark. So I have a side light over here which is blinding me, but it's also giving me a really bad glare on my glasses, so I guess I should have worn my contact, but I need to be able to see my screen, so we're just gonna make do. So if you guys are here, you should be here for section 1 of Inside Out and Back Again by Than Ha Lei. I'm getting there with being able to pronounce her name. So this is the grades 3 through 5 book for our reading club that we're doing right now. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you need to go to our first video to be able to join the reading club, and I will link that up here or down below somewhere so you guys can go join that and be a part of the fun too. But if you are here and you know what's going on, then you should have read section 1 of Inside Out and Back Again, and it kind of went past where part 1 ends. But we did end up going, I think we went to page 90, which seems like a lot, but like we talked about last time, it's written in verse, so the verse makes it a little bit easier to get through. I read it super fast. I don't know about you guys, if you guys are finding it a fast read or not, but I thought it was pretty easy to get through. So in the first 90 pages, Ha talks fondly of her country of Saigon, even though they're going through the Vietnam War right now. But soon she realizes that because of the war, Saigon is going to be gone. So they're going to completely destroy and overrule Saigon, and that is not good. So Ha and her family has to flee the country. They have to leave everything behind, and they have to go hungry for a lot of days and be on a boat for a lot of days, and things are just not going right for Ha and her family. So the word of the week that we're going to talk about is conviction. And conviction means a firmly held belief or opinion torn due to a specific belief. So my example was, Angelica was filled with conviction when her friend started eating without praying beforehand because her pastor told her she should always thank God for food before eating. So a lot of times when we talk about conviction, we're talking about a religious conviction. But conviction can also mean something like, if you strongly believe that, like, people shouldn't eat animals, and you're at a barbecue where everybody's eating a pig, like they did a pig roast or something like that, and everybody's eating all this stuff with pigs and they're pressuring you to do it, you're kind of filled with conviction. Like, you know that you shouldn't do it because that's your belief, but also everybody else is doing it, so it's kind of this, like, weird, torn feeling of, do I do what I believe in, or do I do what everybody else is doing? So that's kind of what conviction means. Like, everybody should love one another, no matter who you care. Like, everyone should be friends. Everyone should be kind to one another. I think back to Ellen DeGeneres. So if you guys don't know who she is, she plays the voice of Dory in the Finding Nemo movies. And she says, be kind to one another every day when she closes her show. And one day she came out and she said that people were really mad at her because she was hanging out with somebody who didn't believe the same things as her. And she said when she says be kind to one another, she doesn't mean just be kind to the people who believe the same things as you, but be kind to the people who are all around you. Every single human you should be kind to. So I think of that when people don't respect me because of my opinions, I'm still nice to them, and I hope that they'll be nice back, but if they aren't, that's not my problem, and that's something that they've got to work through. So yeah, so if you guys have ever been filled with conviction before, that's what I'm wondering. Do you kind of understand what that means? If you're really struggling with that word, I would suggest going and talking to like family members about it, or a friend or something, or you can comment down below and I can try to clarify a little bit better, because that is a tough word and it is brought up in our book with Ha's older brother. So her oldest brother is very filled with conviction about leaving their country. So I did write here, I'm looking at the Google Doc, I accidentally wrote pre-reading questions, but we are going to talk about section 1 questions. So question 1 was, what are 2 things they eat on Tet? So, and I hope I'm saying that right, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Tet. So if you go right to the very first page, it says that every Tet we eat sugary lotus seeds and gluttonous rice cakes. So, I don't know what a lotus seed tastes like, but a rice cake, we've had those before, you know, like most people have had those before. But I don't know what a lotus seed tastes like. If anybody's eaten one before, let me know what it tastes like, because I have never had one before. And then question 2 was, what is coming close to Ha's home? So that's the war and the destruction of the war. So basically at this time, Vietnam was still fighting, but a lot of their ally countries and people who were trying to protect certain people in southern Vietnam were kind of pulling out of the war because it was getting to be too much. So northern Vietnam was kind of taking over southern Vietnam and overtaking Saigon. So that's all stuff that we've learned in the book, but basically war is coming really close to Ha's home, and it's not safe for her and her family anymore. Question 3 is, what kind of tree does Ha grow? So there's a picture of her in a tree right here on the front, and she says that it's a papaya tree. So a papaya is a type of fruit. So she is growing this tree, and she's been growing it for a long time, and it's something that she's very, very proud of. And it does become a bigger part later on in our book when she's talking about food that she likes from Saigon. So question 4 was, where is Ha's father? And Ha's father is missing in action from war. So he went off to fight in the war pretty much right after Ha was born, and she doesn't really know him, and he's still been missing, but their mother is still filled with hope that he will come back. But he is missing in action, which means that people don't know where he is. He's either dead or just not able to be found right now. So question 5 is, what does Uncle Son want Ha's family to do? And he wants them to flee Saigon. He wants them to get on Navy boats and leave. He thinks it's not safe for them anymore, and everybody's kind of like, what if, like, Ha and her brother's like, what if father comes back? And basically Uncle Son's like, you know, you gotta leave. Either way, like, whether he comes back or not, you have to leave. So question 6 is, what happened to Saigon? And Saigon was gone. That is all that it said. It said Saigon was gone, so it was overtaken by North Vietnam at the time. When they say Saigon was gone, it just means that Saigon wasn't the Saigon that they grew up in. It wasn't the safe home that they had, so they did have to leave. Number 7, this is actually kind of a funny part that I enjoyed, but it says, number 7, Ha loves snacks but has very little food on the boat. So when Ha is on the boat, she says that she is a girl who loves snacks, and her mother is trying to kind of pacify her, like, they don't have a lot of food, but the specific phrasing, I don't know if I can find it, but Mother smooths back my hair, knowing the pain of a girl who loves snacks but is stranded on a ship. So, I mean, who doesn't love snacks, right? Like, but can you imagine only be giving, like, a meal, a little tiny meal a day, and not being allowed to, like, go to the cupboard and get chips, or go to the cupboard and get candy, stuff like that. So, my question for you is, what would be the hardest snack for you to give up? And for me, the hardest snack to give up would probably be Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I really like Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, and I would not want to be without them. Number 8 says, why do you think Ha gave up her doll when paying respects to Brother Quois' chick? So Brother Quois had a chick, and they made him leave it behind, but he actually smuggled it in his pocket. But when everybody was trying to get on the boat, they were smushing up against him, and the chick died. He was hanging on to this dead chick, and it was making the boat smell really bad. People couldn't figure out what it was until finally his brother wrestled it out of him and found out that it was this dead chick. And so what Ha did is she took her doll that was kind of bitten up by a mouse and stuff like that, and she wrapped the chick up with the doll, and they threw it into the river and kind of paid respects to it that way, or threw it into the ocean, not the river. What am I saying? But they kind of paid respects to it that way. So why do you think Ha gave up her doll? So I think the reason Ha gave up her doll is she saw how important this chick was to her brother. Her brother was ready to not leave Saigon, which was going to be destroyed and overrun and overruled and stuff like that. And I think that she gave up her doll because she wanted to show her brother, like, they're all starting new, they're all starting fresh, they're giving up their stuff from their old home to go to this new home, and kind of, it was just like a nice thing to do. Like, he had to give up something he loved, so she gave up something she loved, and it was kind of just their way of starting fresh and having this little ritual together of saying goodbye to the things that were. to move on to the things that are going to be. So number 9 says, look at the poem on page 21, Two More Papayas. Write a poem with similar vibe about your favorite fruits. Two more papayas. I see them first. Two green thumbs that will grow into orange-yellow delights smelling of summer. Middle sweet between a mango and a pear. Soft as a yam gliding down after 3 easy, thrilling chews. So what I asked you guys to do is to write a poem in a similar context using your 5 senses. Now, I realized I miswrote that question and had so many wrong things in that question, but the 5 senses are touch, sight, taste, sound, and smell. So I wrote like nose, and I wrote touch and feel. I don't even know what I wrote, but if you guys knew what I meant and you wrote a poem, go ahead and send it to me if you want me to read it. But I'm going to read you guys mine really quick, and then if you didn't understand what that question was asking because of my grammatical errors, feel free to go ahead and write one now, and I'll kind of give you mine as an example. But mine is called Banana. A small crack, yellow sleek skin, peeled back to a sweet mush of vibrant flavors. The resonating tang and sweet scents dance around me. I bite and feel its cool inside fill me with nutrition and delight. So if you guys didn't have a chance to write a poem and you want to go ahead and send that to me, I will be happy to go ahead and read that. And sorry about the errors in that question. I hope it didn't mess anyone up too bad. You guys kind of, I bet, know what the 5 senses are. I was just, just one of those things, guys. But I want to get into discussing, so Ha has a temper that makes her always yell at her brothers and pinch Tram. So she's sitting in school, this girl sits next to her, and her school's about to close down, so she pinches Tram. And I thought that this was a really good topic to bring up because right now our schools are closed down, for the most of us. So, you know, like when your school got closed down, did you get so mad that you wanted to pinch the person next to you? Probably not, but that's how angry Ha is at all this. So I wanted to kind of talk about that for a second. Her mom is always trying to calm her down, but sometimes she just can't help it. When she pinches Tram, she does it because she is frustrated that school is closing and that she will not have a chance to win the sweet potato plant she has been working for. She knows Tram doesn't deserve this and that it isn't right, but she just can't help herself. When is the time you have done something out of anger? How did it hurt the people around you, and were you able to solve the problem? So I would say probably something that I've done out of anger. I haven't done a lot of things out of anger. I have 28 years, and there have been a lot of moments where I've gotten angry and I've done something, but probably one of the most hurtful things I ever did was I told my best friend I hated her. And this is something that I kind of think about a lot because it was just such a hurtful thing to do. But I was really mad at my best friend. She canceled our plans, and you know, it was a completely reasonable reason to cancel our plans, but I kind of turned to her and I just said, I hate you. And I don't even know if she thinks about it to this day, but I still think about it because it was such a mean thing to say and a mean thing to do, and it really upset me that I did that because I'm not somebody who usually uses the word hate, unless I'm talking like silly about like, oh, I hate Brussels sprouts or something like that, you know, but like I don't usually tell people I hate them. I actually pretty much like people for the most part and don't really find flaws with them unless like they're like a really bad person or something. But like for the most part, I don't really ever hate anyone. So the fact that I said it to my best friend really hurt me and hurt her. So it says, how did it hurt the people around you? Obviously it hurt her feelings, like, and we ended up talking about it. So it says, how did you solve the problem? But we ended up talking about it, kind of figuring out like the things that were going on with me and why I would say such a mean thing to her and stuff like that. But I want to know, you guys, you don't have to tell me, but I want you guys to kind of think about it too, because I think sometimes we do things out of anger and then we don't take time to reflect on why it happened. This was a chance that I got to reflect on why it happened, and it was able to help me take the next step in healing myself and helping myself. But I think that we all have to kind of just like take a second, sit back sometimes and think, why did I do this? So I want you guys just to kind of have that inner dialogue with yourself. Like think about a time that you really hurt someone, maybe because you were angry, and how did it make them feel, and what did you do to fix the problem? So you don't have to tell me, but if you want to talk about it with someone, you're more than welcome to comment below, or you can talk about it with a parent or a friend or whatever you feel comfortable with. But, you know, maybe it's something that you still think about this day, like, oh, I did something really mean and I want to talk about it with someone. Go ahead and have that conversation now, because sometimes talking about it can make it 100% better. And we see that later on in this book, how Ha kind of feels better by talking some of this stuff out. But anyways, so that is it for section 1 of Inside Out and Back Again. So the next time we meet, we're going to do section 2 questions, and that will be next week, which is April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, which I don't like, because I don't like pranks, and I don't like tomfoolery. But I'm going to tell you guys the questions now, so you guys have them for the next time we meet, and, yeah, the next section I think is probably one of the better sections, because we get to see kind of what life is like for Ha once she gets to the United States. So question 1 is, what country was the boat from that came to rescue the people from the ship fleeing Saigon? Question 2, what does Ha do to the man in the poem Golden Fuzz? So there's a poem titled Golden Fuzz. I want you guys to tell me what she does to the person in it. Number 3, where does her mother first consider moving to, and where does she choose instead? Number 4, what state does their family get sponsored to? So when Ha gets to where she goes, she has to be chosen to go live with somebody, and you get chosen, it's called being sponsored by a state. So what state sponsors her? So it's one of the 50 US states. Where does the cowboy take Ha? What will Brother Vu teach Ha? Who is the only neighbor to show their family kindness? What did their family have to do at church to be more welcomed into the community? So my activity for you is to write a journal entry about a time you felt you didn't fit in. So it's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. You guys can kind of write about anything, but I want you to just write about a time that you didn't fit in, because we do see that a lot with Ha in this next section of our reading. But other than that, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are enjoying this book. This is probably one of my favorite books that I'm reading from this reading activity that we're doing, this like reading club that we're doing. So honestly, I think last time I read this book, I only gave it 3 stars, but I think it's going to end up getting 5 stars from me this time, or 4 stars maybe, because it's just really good, and I forgot how much I really enjoy the writing and the content in here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!
Wasn't that a great video? Clearly books make me very happy. Now you can make me happy too. Click the subscribe button to follow my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you think I did good. And the notification bell will let you know when I post new content. Also, follow my Instagram for more book shenanigans.